Hey, I wanted to try and talk some more about Conker's Bad Fur Day, obviously. And I was thinking that, well, there is a topic, but it's sort of a difficult one. We could try and go there. It's the topic of self-destruction. Because the theme of self-destruction seems to appear several times throughout the game, as far as I can distinguish, and as far as I can, relate it to that concept in a sense. So, let's just take one example at random. The Haybot, in the Haybot Wars chapter, self-destructs, explodes. He's like, I can't remember how the sequence works exactly, but after you've defeated him, he just sort of like activates some self-destruction mechanism and goes poof and explodes. So that's that. And that happens at the bottom of the farm level. So you've descended all the way down to the bottom. You've encountered the Haybot. I mean, you've encountered its true form, so to speak. And encountering its true form, which is this sort of metallic, robotic form that it didn't have before. Before it was literally a haystack. An oldie-worldy, haystacky kind of thing. Now it's a futuristic Haybot that was living inside of the haystack as the true form of the haystack. Or at least not a true form, but maybe a hidden side to the haystack or something. And that hidden side, once you've defeated it, self-destructs. A similar thing happens in the boiler room because the boiler also self-destructs. In fact, the boiler, I think, much more explicitly activates a self-destruction protocol and self-destructs. So we get that same pattern of, in this case, also a machine that's self-destructing. And a machine, in this case also, which exists sort of lower down in like the depths of wherever it is that you're going. In the depths of there, you find this machine that ultimately, after you've defeated it, decides to self-destruct, or has a self-destruction mechanism put in. Almost it seems as if the self-destruction is happening because of the defeat. Like, because you defeat it, it self-destructs. Its defeat is its self-destruction. It almost doesn't let itself be defeated by you. It doesn't let itself be destroyed by you. It destroys itself after you have defeated it, kind of thing. So, just with these two examples, I think there's a few things to say, maybe. There is one thing to say that's a little bit of a silly detail, but it might be interesting. In both these cases, the big machine person has little things, little people, kind of co-living with it or living inside of it. In the case of the Haybot is this big guy, and he has these Suzy 9mm missiles, who also seem to be sentient, like he is, and they kind of live encased in his body, almost as part of him. Excuse me. I think I was talking about Suzy 9mm and the companions to the big body. So the big body, let's say the haystack, has these companions who kind of ride alongside him in some way. It's hard to know what they do at an archetypal level. They kind of ride alongside him. And they're also sentient, but they're small. And they just live next to him. Of course, I'm comparing this to the boiler room person, because he also has these little imps inside of him who, the dialogue kind of lets us know that the imps are pressing levers and pushing buttons, so the imps might be driving the machine. The imps are like this little, ghost in the machine kind of thing. a little person inside of the big machine, and they're controlling the machine, or they're at any rate riding alongside it. Maybe the big boiler is the one who's in control, and the imps are just there for the ride and to push a few buttons here and there. Who knows? But they are kind of coexisting in some way, and again, both of them self-destruct at the end. Now, of course, these particular characteristics of a big person coexisting with a small person remind me a lot of the little girl in the It's War chapter who coexists with a teddy bear who's the size of, much, much bigger than her. So the bear's like the size of Manhattan, I was going to say. I don't know why I wanted to say that, but the bear's the size of Manhattan. The bear's like massive, and the little girl's very small. And she's sort of riding alongside, coexisting. In this case also, kind of like with the imps, she is, as far as we know, controlling. She's in control. She says that she's the brains and he's the brawn. So he's the pure force and she's the mind behind that force. So again, kind of like the imps in the imp chapter. Excuse me. And so anyway, yeah, we have another example of this kind of duality between a big body and a small body that coexist together and sort of, in some sense, help each other function. One can't really function without the other, it seems. They both coexist and they both drive each other forward in some sense. Yeah, change of clothes. Oh yeah. So, what's happening? I think we can try and find something between these cases before moving on to